A very good morning to all the listeners of this EduSay session. My name is Baljinder Singh. I am working as a assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology at Bend College of Engineering and Technology, Gurdaspur. Today we will discuss the topic system programming. So this course is as per the PTU curriculum taught in the fourth semester, the stream of the Information Technology and Computer Science department. So system programming is actually the what are the various or different system software that assist the user to interact with the hardware of the computer system. So the content that we have covered today lectures, that are the introduction of the different software or system software, and what are the different evaluation or foundation of system software, and later on we will discuss a system program compiler in a brief. So what are the various phases or design procedure of a compiler? So as we know, the computer system operate on the set of primitive instruction. These are the 0 or 1. So as we enter anything to the computer system, it will only understand or interpret these inputs into the form of 0 1. So the reason behind the computer understand only 0 1 is that computer consists with a digital component devices that have the property to exhibit only in two states, that is a 0 or 1. So as we divide overall functionality of the computer system into the two parts. So first, as we have know the computer system or a machine structure, so we only divide these two functionality, the overall functionality of the computer system, into two parts. One is the software of the computer system, another is the hardware of the computer system. So these two categories completely elaborate the concept of the computer system. So hardware is nothing without the software, or software is nothing without the hardware. So as software instruct the hardware of the computer system, accordingly that hardware will operate. So as just take a simple example, if we feed a or give a any instruction to any machine, according to that set of instruction or behavior, machine will operate. So the total functionality, two categories of the computer system, software or hardware. So as we know, software are the set of program. So basic program is a collection of instruction, or set of instruction make a program, or set of or collection of program make a software. So generally we categorize the software into three parts. One is the application software that assist the user or used for the specific purpose, or as second categories, that is our today topic, is the system software. So the programming of the system software is called system programming. And three hard to distinguish is the category, the utility software that help the user for a specific purpose to write the firmware of the computer system. So first we start with the introduction of the computer system, then what is the software, and between these we just continue with the system software. So at a top level, a computer consists of processors, so memories and I/O components. So generally we have a computer system consists with a processor that perform processing, memory of the computer system where we can store the instruction or data, and input output components that interact with the outside world with one or more module of each type. These components are interconnected in fashion to achieve the main function of the computer system. So interaction of these component help us to just achieve the goal of the computer system that will execute program. Thus there are main four structural elements. So that is the processor, main memory, IO module and system buses. So this is the general architecture of a machine. As we say that this is the top level view of the system. So as we can see in this diagram, we have a CPU that is consisted with the some register like a program counter that will fetch the address of the next instruction register that will help the instruction to execute execution unit, that is the memory address register, memory buffer register, IO register or input output bus register. So we have a input output module that help to interact with the outside world, and interaction between these three module is done with the help of system buses. So system buses, like we have a address bus that carry the bits of the addresses, or data bus that carry the bits of the data, and we have a main memory where currently running program is executed. So main memory is the main component of, so main memory in this case is the random access memory of the system. So this is the top level view of the machine. So we have a machine, we have a hardware of the machine. So hardware is nothing without the use of the software. So software give the instruction as we have designed according to the architecture of the machine to the hardware. Accordingly that hardware will operate. So first we start with what is software. So as we know, software is a language of the computer that computer understands. Software is general term of the various kind of program used to operate computer and related devices. So devices of the computer system come under the three categories, are only operated with the help of the software, and software is generally divided into the application software. So those programs that do work user are directly interested in, and the system software. So system software which include operating system and any other program that support application software. So another categories of the utility software, which is small useful program with limited capability, like to design a firmware, to design a EPROM. So for that, to design a device driver, for that we categorize these into third, that is the utility software. So as we know, let's take an example. So from that, this is the division. As per the division, we have a hardware or software, and software, from that category we have a system programming. So this is the our main aim or objective today lecture. So what is actually a system programming? So we can say that system programming is the activity of programming system software. So this is means the system software that assist the system or help the hardware of the system to operate or make for user convenient. We for that we have designed a programming that for the system software. So the primary distinction between or the characteristic of system programming is when compared to the application programming is that application programming aims generally to provide software which helps the user or provides services to the user, like a word processor, WordPad, banking software, railway reservation system. All these are the application designed for specific purpose, and whereas system programming aim to produce software which provides services to the computer hardware, so that assist the hardware of the computer system. So for the system software we need a greater degree of awareness for the hardware of the system. So system software generally consists of variety of programs that support the operation of the computer system, and one characteristic in which most system software differ from application is the machine dependency. So system software designed according to the architecture of the machine, whereas the application software is common for, or you can say that hardware portability. So for example, when you look for the first programming course, we have a text editor, compiler, loader, linkers. So one by one we will explain these system software. So when we write a assembly language, for that we have a assembler, microprocessor, and you control all of these processes by interacting with the operating system. That is, overall functionality of the computer system is controlled with the operating system. So system software versus machine architecture. One characteristic in which most system software differ from application software is the machine dependency. So system software generally designed for the according to the architecture of the machine. So as per the set of instruction or set of architecture, we design a system software for specific purpose. Like a assembler translate mnemonic instruction into machine code as per the assembly language designed for that. So for which assembly language assembler is designed, accordingly that assembler translate into the objective code. So compiler must generate machine language code. Operating system are directly concerned with the management of nearly all the resources of the computing system. The overall functionality of the computer system is controlled, or providing interface to the user is done by the operating system. So there are some aspects of system software that do not directly depend upon the type of computing system, like a journal design, a logic of a assembler, and code optimization technique used in the compiler design process. So this is the main diagram that will elaborate the overall concept of the system program, your different system software. So let's take a day-to-day activities. Suppose one person knows the only the region language, like a person is familiar with the tongue language like a Punjabi or Hindi language and cannot understand the English language. One person is only understand the English, cannot interact or know the specific language like a Punjabi or Hindi. So if these two different person want to communicate with each other, for that they need a intermediate body, they need a intermediate entities that will help to interact with these two different peoples know different language. One person know a French, he will not explain the idea to a person know only the Hindi language. So same scenario is used in the computer. So this is the main point, pinpoint. So like a computer only operate in the primitive instruction, its behavior, its execution is, its interpretation is only done in the form of primitive instruction, that is the 0 or 1. Computer cannot understand anything others. Computer cannot, if we feed anything to the computer system interpret or read it as a in the form of 0 or 1. So earlier time, so when we start writing a instruction for the computer system, we directly execute the instruction. So that instruction, that language in the form of 0 1 is called a machine language, or a we can another name of these are the low level language. Machine language means it is accordingly or set for the machine of a computer system. So user is not familiar with the 0 1. So we cannot write anything or any program in the form of 0 1. We are not remember anything enter in the computer in the form of 0. Suppose we just say like we have a continuous word people application programming. So we are not remember these in the form of 0 or 1. So but computer only understand 0 and 1. So for that, for more assistant or interaction of the user with the computer system, we design a different system software that help the user to interact with the hardware of the computer system. So that is the main reason why we have designed different, because user cannot directly interact with the computer system. Just like a person know only French cannot communicate with the person know Hindis or other language rather than French. So for that, like just in the embassy interviews, a person intermediate person translator is placed in between both entities So that will help to for the communication. Same thing for interaction with the computer system. We have designed a different system software like a compiler, assembler, linkers, loaders, text editors, operating system debuggers that help the user to interact with the hardware of the computer system without knowing what is running behind the scene. So earlier time we have computer directly operate on the basic instruction in the 0 or 1, but very difficult to, when the instruction become complex, very difficult to write directly program in the 0 form. So for that, the technology, with the advancement of technology, the first designed a convert these 0 1 form into the form of mnemonics. So these mnemonics are called assembly language. So for assembly language, we have designed a assembler that is also a system program that help to convert a program written in the assembly language into the form of 0 or 1. So same, so with the advancement of like a journal, user are more convenient with the English like language. So for the concept of the high level language arises. So as per the diagram of this pyramid, so top level these are the people user of the computer system. So these are directly or using only the application programming that helps the user to interact with computer system. And these application programming, for that we have a application software used for specific purpose. We have a high level language concept, programming language like C, C++, Java. So for the interaction of these languages with the system, we design a different translator or system program like a compiler, so that help convert a high level program language program into machine language. We have a assembler that convert a assembly language program into a machine language that computer understand, microprocessor that abbreviated or just a provide abbreviation for a lines that identicals repeatedly continue in the programming, linkers, loaders that help to just load a program into the main memory and prepare for execution, editors for editing purpose, debugging adds help to find the bugs in the program, sorting algorithm. And these are the IO program, input output program, file system, scheduler, libraries, memory management device. All these are the functionality of the operating system, like a input output devices control the all the devices or peripheral devices are attached with a computer system. File system are provide just a log or a file allocation table, new technology file system to just keep the record of the all the entries in the computer system. Scheduler are just track the scheduling of the processes. Library, different dynamic link libraries are used that help to just use a predefined functionality of a computer system. Management of memory, this is the main memory management, efficiently use the memories in the for a different processes, different devices for we have a device. So these all functionality are handled by the operating system. This is also another system program. So here at the top level is the user, this is the inner level of the computer system, and the system program are act as a intermediate for these in between the people or innermost part of the computer system. So this is a journal translation process of a program. So let's suppose we have write a program in the C or C++ high level language. So we know that the syntax, the language, the terminologies are used in the high level language is as per the according to the user of a computer system. The user is familiar, but computer cannot understand the source code that is written in the form of high level language or in a English like word. For that we design a system software that is the compiler that will help to convert these source program written in the high level language into the form of 01 with some information for linker or loader. So when we have a object code in the form of 01, the linker by using relocatable object code link different object module into a single, make a single executable file. So first we have a source file, then we have a object file, and then we have a executable file, and then later on loader system program load these executable module into the main memory, because any currently running program is reside in the main memory and program prepare for the execution. So here at the top level we have editors, that is also a system program. In between we have a compiler, language translator, like a other language translator are used like a assembler, interpreter. So we have a and finally load the program from the secondary memory into main memory, we have a loader. So different systems of program are designed or used for the execution of a translation process of a program. So this module are just to explain the concept of the different system program. So next we start with the categories of system software. So first categories of the system software is the assembler, that convert a assembly language program, assembly language that is in the form of mnemonics. English mnemonics are the word means English like word that just like suppose we have a mnemonics ADD, and that will add the two different operands. Another system software is the compiler that convert a high level language program into machine language. So assembler is designed for assembly language, a compiler is designed for high level language. So interpreter is just like the compiler and it will execute instruction directly. So next is the microprocessors. So this facility is used in the assembly language. Sometimes we have a identical line of code that is used more than once in the program. So for that we for those line we define a micros, so that microprocessor expand these micro according to the lines abbreviated during the starting of the micros. So it will help to just avoid to writing the identical line in program again and again. So next is the linker that will link different object module and make a single executable file. Next is the loader that will load the program into the main memory and prepare them for execution. So next we have a text editors that will help to edit, modify or add anything in the program. So next is the debugger that will help to find the bugs in the program. So next we have a operating system. This is also a system software that will help to control the overall functionality of the system or of a computer system. So these are the 9 different system software generally used or designed for the efficient functionality of a computer system. So one by one we will explain these different system software. So first we started with the assembler. So as per the definition, an assembler is a program that takes basic computer instruction written in the assembly language and convert them into a pattern of bits that computer process can use to perform its basic operation. So generally, as we can say that assembler accept input as a source program that is written in the assembly language in the form of mnemonics and translate these source program into object code with information for linker for the so that these code is understood by the computer system that is in the form of 01. So assembler So some people call these instruction assembly language and other use the term assembly language. So this is the shown in the diagram. So this is the source program written in the assembly language in the form of mnemonics. So assembler convert these mnemonics into a object code with information for linker. So linker link different object module into a and make a single executable file. So this executable file later on loaded by the loader into main memory of a computer system and prepare them for the execution. So this is the role of the assembler, because user are more feel more convenient or easy with the mnemonics or assembly language, but computer only understand the code permitting instruction, that is the 0 1. So just a assembler play intermediate role and convert these into a form of 0 1. Operation code, basically instruction has a two part. One is the opcode, that is the operation, because we are any operation we are going to apply it. Another is the operand, means data, what data are using. So operation, like a we have a operation, what we want to do, suppose we want add two different operands. So we have a add operation, for that we add a double d opcode is used, and assembler directly write these value of the right value of these mnemonic and operand. So operand may be stored in the memory with a location or directly run from the or added from the register. So translating main function first their mnemonics operation code to their machine language equivalent, and assigning machine addresses to the symbolic label. So any symbolic label is assigned. So within that label we have a some addresses in the memories, and first providing the value to the operation code and loading the operand from the memory. So next function is the machine dependency. So different machine instruction format are used and codes are used. So according to the architecture of the machine, like the most commonly used ASM assembler is net-wide assembler is used in the market, that run on the 86 architecture and freely available. So mostly according to the assembly language of a machine, a assembler is designed. So according as per the instruction used in the and operated on that architecture, accordingly that assembler will work. So next system program is the compiler. So a compiler is a program that read a program written in a one language, that is the source language, or that is written in the high level, and translate it into an equivalent program in another language, the target language. So same assembler translate the assembly language program, or compiler translate the high level language program into the equivalent object code. So it is an important part of this translation process. The compiler report to its user the presence of error in the, so any syntax or any code that is not as per the definition of the compiler will also produce the error messages. So important part of, so compilation, and in another way we can say that compilation is a process that translate a program in one language, that is a source language written in the high level language like a C, C++, Java, Fortran, Basic, into an equivalent program in another language, that is the object or target language. So an important part of any compiler is the detection and reporting of error. So this is as shown in the diagram. So we have a source program written in the high level language. A compiler will compile these source program and produce a object code, and compiler also produce a error messages. So in the designing process we will discuss different phases of compiler designing phases of designing of compiler. And compiler also produce some information for the linker. So linker will link different object module and produce executable code, final code, and later on loader will load this code into the main memory. Next we have a interpreter. So interpreter work is same as the high level language